Okay, I want to welcome everybody to our August exhibit comment night. It is August the 15th, 2024. We had a guest, but she is a USF student and she has a class that starts at 7 o'clock. So she was only here until 7. She came in at 6:30. So hopefully she'll watch a recording and come back if she doesn't, get scared away by all us old timers. So anyway, let's see. I got just a few announcements, and then we have a couple of videos to watch, and then we'll get to our images. The assignments coming up for September is the ICM, which is our redemption. If you haven't, if you want to review Stephanie Johnson's class that we did a couple of months ago, let me know, and I'll send you the link if you want to watch that before you decide what you're going to submit.
I do, Lynn.
Okay. All right. Just send me an email, please, at my TBCC, and I will send you the link. Yeah. October is low angle perspective, which we kind of were doing some of that in the forest on Sunday and Monday.
We even combined light painting with low angle perspective.
Yep. And November is landscape panorama with at least 2 layers. And this one was, we will be actually talking about that in October, or actually in September. So the education nights this coming week, we do not have a Zoom meeting. We have a outing. So next Thursday, we have an outing at the St. Pete Pier. It's called Pier and Beer. We've been doing this since 2022. We didn't do it last year, but we've done it 2 other times. So 2020, yeah, it was our first outing after the pandemic.
After COVID.
Yeah, and we had a blast. It was just after the pier opened, so it was all brand new to us. But it's you just wander around. Hopefully, we'll have a good sunset. We have some clouds in the sky to shoot, and the pier is interesting, especially when the lights come on. And all the details for it are in the on our website. So if you have look through that and you have any questions, just email me again at mytbcc@gmail.com and let me know if you have any questions. But pretty much the same as what we do. We're going to meet at 6:30. We'll shoot for a while, and then there's a restaurant up at the top of the pier, and we'll go up there and hopefully get a table right on the edge so we can shoot out over across the pier into St. Petersburg, and hopefully there'll be storm clouds, because last time we did it, we had lightning in the sky. So that will be, we keep our fingers crossed, and hopefully that will be happening on next Thursday. September, the education night will be Robert doing the landscape panorama with 2 or more layers. So that basically is panoramas where you're stacking things. So he's going to go over that and give us a lowdown on how to do that. October is our member takeover night. And that I sent an email out beginning of the week, I think, or last week, and asking for volunteers. I've had a few, but we need some more. It's basically a 7 to 10 minute talk by the member on one concept or idea or something that you can fit into a short amount of time. And if you have any questions about that, email me or give me a call and I will talk to you if you're interested. We've got a few people, saying they're going to do it at this point, but we need some more. So it's fun. It's a little bit of work, but it's also a great way to break into talking to people, and I did it for out of Chicago. I had thousands of people listening to me, and I lived through it, guys. I actually lived through it. And believe it or not, I am a shy person and I have a hard time speaking in public. I'm good with you guys, but anything beyond that, forget it. So, but yeah, if you're all interested, if you have an idea that you want to try to fit into that short amount of time, let me know and we'll fit you in. Any comments from Jim?
I'll tell you what, before we, ahead of time of doing it, I will probably put something together, just a quick thing to help people have, even more of a better understanding of what we're looking for with a low angle perspective. Okay. So that, because I've already encountered people who think that means photographing something that's on the ground, which is not what it is.
It's looking up at something.
and also not just, and it's also not just, standing here and pointing your camera up. Yep. There's more to it than that, and I'll give people some pointers.
Okay,
I'll put a little
awesome.
thing together to help people with some pointers on that.
All right. Robert, any comments?
I wish I had some, but I do not.
Okay, and you are on the list to do the member monthly feature next month, by the way.
Okay.
Next month, okay? You said you wanted September, so you got it.
That's what the 7 minutes off?
That's the slideshow. Like, remember, Robert, each one of us, Lee and Jim and Jim Hagan and those guys have been doing a
that's in
slideshow.
September,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, your personal
September
stuff.
education night, right?
Yeah, it's next exhibition night, a month from tonight.
Okay, gotcha.
I'll send you a reminder.
Thank you. You know how I am.
Anybody else have any comments or questions about anything?
Yeah, I have a comment. I'm the third judge this month, and it just happened to be Bokeh, and it's something that in 12 years of photography I've done almost none of, so I'm a complete noob on that. And so my judging was done based on my impression of the photograph as basically a non-photographer. So I'm hoping to learn about the technical aspects from Robert and Jim's comments tonight, but know that your scores were just based on what some average Joe would think of your photograph looking at it.
Well, you seem to do fine, Brian. I saw your scores.
Sounds like he was trying to get us not to beat him up.
I think so too, Leslie.
I saw his scoring. He did fine with the scoring. Don't worry. He didn't score from out in left field.
Never a doubt. In all honesty, never a doubt. Never a doubt.
Anybody else?
No, I just have a question. Brian, can you send me that link? I texted you earlier, the link for the 2 battery packs that I need to buy in order to do the stuff Jim wants us to do with the GoPro.
Okay, so you didn't get them out of the chat last.
I did, but I don't know where I carefully put them.
Okay.
Thank you.
Anything else, guys? All right. I'm going to go ahead and do the Chihuly slideshow. Guys didn't get to go with us. We had, I think 16 of us were there 3 weeks ago on the 27th, I guess, of July. And we spent about an hour and a half in there, just running around, just, having fun and taking, doing ICMs and long exposures and all kinds of crazy things in there. And then we, as usually, went and had lunch, which that's always a good time too. So I'm very into food. So anyway, let me go ahead and play that. Share. And give me 1 minute to bring it up. Can you see my screen?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. All right, ready? Here we go. Hopefully you guys can hear the music. I will turn it down just a little bit. Whoa, that's way up.
I hear music.
Yay.
Thank you. Very nice.
There were so many creative images in there. That was fantastic.
That was
Yeah.
great presentation, Lynn. I love the way you put it together.
Thank you.
And Lynn, I wanted to say something. Sounds like you're getting ready for Outlander.
Yeah.
No, I
I
just
was
like
gonna
the
say,
music.
I was gonna say, after listening to the music, I need a Guinness.
All right, Jim, you want to share yours?
Yeah, I got a quick one. I got a pared down version of what the attendees got as a souvenir from the outing we did that I have here. Let's see, advanced.
This was our 3-day deal in Rooksville area.
Yeah. Anybody wants to do another one? I'll do it.
I would love to do that. I
But
just
it's
couldn't.
a little
It was-
cooler.
yeah, it was family night.
Okay.
But I bet you're going to see a bunch of us laying on the ground at the beer and pier, or pier and beer.
Peer and peer. Thanks, Brian.
Guys, with those battery packs, it's all about the cable. Got to get the right power, but once you get the right cable, it works just fine without the battery in the GoPro.
Oh, there it is. Yep. Thank you.
Can you guys see on screen?
Yep.
Yes.
All right.
That was awesome.
That's
I
great.
love that fish.
Me too. The fish is a great way to end the video.
Yeah. Was that fish when you had it sitting in the water on the tripod? Did he come up to the camera?
That was at that last place we were at. I just stuck the GoPro on a log under the water and just let it sit on a log and record. And the fish came up to check out the camera.
I'm
That's
sure
funny.
that my GoPro has a lot of fish pictures.
Yeah.
That will never be discovered until 2 years from now.
But,
That's right. Some
Yes,
fish has
Diana,
it.
Diana lost her GoPro in the river.
But
But Brian and Jim tried their best to recruit to resurrect it, but
Jack helped look for it too.
yeah, Jack too,
Yeah.
sorry.
Anybody missed that then and wants to go on another one, I'll do it.
Oh, I would love to do that again. But I have to
Not
do,
with that kayak.
Yeah,
You
yeah,
have
Yeah,
fun.
not that kayak.
yeah, Brian tipped over.
and Jack had the kayak from hell.
Yeah.
His
I'm gonna
abs,
buy one. I'm gonna buy one with a big seat on it.
yeah,
That other one was awful.
yeah.
They
Well,
do
you
make
could see
cushions.
it.
They
You
make
could see it
cushions
on the
to go in.
video. He was leaning over when he was paddling.
Yeah,
Just saw it right now.
Terrible.
Just
Yeah.
lopsided.
yeah, Brian's kayak was pretty low in the water from pretty early on in the day.
Mhm.
All right,
It's a good-
let's go ahead and get started on the images. Okay, let me get all this stuff going here. Can you see my Lightroom?
Yep.
Okay. All right, let me get the score sheet up. Are we ready?
Mhm.
All
We
right.
are ready.
Can you take the titles out, Len?
Yeah, it'll come when I do the full screen, it'll go away. Okay, this first one is Fleur de Jour. The score is 23.8 and it belongs to Mark Wright.
Pretty.
Robert, Jim.
Yeah. The colors in the background on this are a great compliment to the subject.
Yeah, I was just looking through some old pictures, and this is one that I found that and all of that blur in the background was, just from lens blur. The only place where I did any kind of touch up was down in the lower left corner. There were a couple other pieces of the flower and stuff that I removed from there, but all the rest of it is just pretty much the way it was shot.
Beautiful.
Nice when you have that blurry background like that, yeah.
Yeah, and just the colors. That was at the Atlanta Botanical Gardens, and so there were some other flowers behind it, and that's what the color is from.
Yeah, as long as the stuff that's behind your subject is far enough away, you can usually get pretty good, decent blur from it, and that's it's to your advantage when it's not right up against the flower. Oh, that's great.
Yeah. So.
Anything else, Robert?
Mark,
Yeah.
I really love it if you were to be more aware of your background.
Yeah.
Lower left side, all of that is taken away from all of the beauty that's going on in the background.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I removed. There was a whole lot of other stuff going on in there, and I removed some of it. And
now, Mark, I hear what you're saying.
yeah, I know, and I knew you were going to say that. So,
man, he knows you already, Robert.
I tried to get rid of it as much as I could, but there's still some there that it still needs a little bit more work down there.
Yeah.
And what I'm getting at is that these are things that could happen in the production of the image, not in the post-production.
Yeah. Well,
Yep.
Yeah.
this picture was actually taken probably, 6 or 7 years ago. So.
Mark, you were a photographer then, you're a photographer now.
Awesome.
But you can fix it in post, right?
Yeah. Try not to do it. We try to get it right in the camera, but sometimes we can't.
Yeah.
All right. Next one is Magical Lily. The score is 24.1, and that one is mine.
That's pretty.
Yeah, it's really pretty.
This is true creative bokeh because this was created using a lens baby with double glass optics. And the bokeh was created using Christmas tinsel.
Christmas
You
tinsel?
take the Christmas tinsel, that long you know, the long shiny stuff that you drape around the tree. And
Yeah.
you drape that around the back behind the flower about, you know, 7 or 8 inches at least, and then shine a light on it. And you, with the, especially with the lens baby, which makes everything all blurry, it gives you that bokeh like that, because that's all the reflections off the tinsel.
Yeah, the sparkles on the tinsel, you know, going out of focus makes that effect. It's gorgeous.
It's similar, like having a wet branches behind there.
So you wrapped it around, Lynn, so you wrapped the tinsel around the flower itself?
Yeah, it's probably back behind that top flower, maybe 10 to 12 inches behind it.
And you shown the light from the side?
Yeah, the light was from the window from the side.
Okay. That's really beautiful.
Thanks.
Yeah.
So here's one of those that I was warning about, because my impression of this one was there was not enough in focus to grab my attention. That was what I saw when I looked at it.
Yeah, but the flower is soft. There is, and I'll agree with you on that, Brian. That there's very, you know, just a tiny bit of what's out in front of the flower in focus.
That's because she shot it with a lens baby.
That's with lens baby. It's you're very limited in where you can focus. So
I like it soft.
Yeah.
I don't know if it has to be super sharp.
Right. Yeah. In this case, you know, that bokeh, it's what the assignment was about. You know, having the bokeh be, you know, support or be the main part of the image, and in this case, it worked.
thank you.
Beautiful.
Next one is coneflower fading focus. I think it's just supposed to be coneflower. Oops.
Oh shoot, you didn't take that out, Lynn.
I forgot to take that off on this one. I did the other one. I forgot this one, but that's
sorry.
Okay. Bad girl. This is Diana's, as you might notice. And its score is 23.5.
And she's worried about the title.
Yeah. I caught it on the other one. I didn't catch it on this one.
Okay, no worries. Well, speak to me.
Yeah, that is a nice soft background, and again, here's the case where the colors complement it. The flowers, the bright yellow one on the edge on the front is a little bit of a distraction. You know, on this one, the one that not the one in the corner, but the one in between the corner and the flower, the one that comes out from behind the pink petals, that could have been more blurred with the rest of the background. That grabs your attention as a secondary flower.
Yeah, my contention was the signature.
Yeah.
Yeah, but that I caught it. I told her, I said, hey, I was an accident.
She had, I didn't realize it was on both of them. I took it off the other one, so.
Well, why do you have to take them off of her photo? I don't understand that.
Well, because I told her that I could resend it, but
I'd already put them in the gallery, so I just said I'll take them off. And
so I did catch it when I went to look at the
bad girl putting your name on. So
that's okay. Do I get my point back?
No. Yeah.
Now, I do want to know what that is at the bottom middle. What is that strong line there?
What are you talking
I don't know. It was a flower. It's part of a flower.
There's a line all the way across the bottom of the image.
Oh, right here.
Yeah, there's a line all the way across the bottom of the image.
I don't know.
I assume that was something that came in when you dropped your name on it, because it perfectly underlines your name.
Yeah,
and I assume that was an artifact
like
associated with the layer with the name on it.
Yeah.
And so when I looked at that at first, I went, okay, what is going on here? And then that line led me to a name, and then I go, why is this name here? And then that led me to say, okay, I'm supposed to see the photograph, but I'm seeing the name. Okay.
And you know how picky I am about flowers. I would have gotten rid of these little spots here, because all I see is that. Unfortunately, that's how my eyes work with flowers.
Okay.
All right. Next one is Starstruck. This one is Sylvia's. The score is 23.7.
Upper right corner.
Mm-hmm.
This?
Oh, the pedal.
Yes.
Okay.
Yeah, that the highlight area where the light is bringing out the texture, that everything else is soft and blurred, but then you got that bright texture up there in the corner.
Okay. Yeah.
Question I have, was this one of those lens babies, or another option that has the discs that you drop in that gives the shapes in the background?
Yes, that's a soft focus 2 lens
Mm-hmm.
that has the magnetic discs, and that's yes, so it's all in a camera, but it's
Right. I thought it was one of those where you drop in the discs. My artistic question is, why did you pick one that had, with all the soft flower and the soft bokeh? Why was your, lead me through your artistic thinking as to why the disc you put in is one with sharp, pointy rays on it, on top of everything else being soft and smooth.
well, I don't think I have one, to be honest with you. I was probably, experimenting. It's you put those discs in, it's not as easy as you think to actually see anything. It's sort of, you have to catch the light just right, and it's,
Yep,
I didn't think they were all that sharp. I thought they were fairly complementary to the flower, but I can.
They are out of focus, but I mean, it's pointy. It's a bunch of pointy lines in an image that otherwise is all soft and curvy.
Okay.
That was my question about, artistically, what made you choose that as opposed to another disc with more of a soft curvy shape versus one with a spiny pointy shape.
Probably because of this thing looks like starish.
Mimics that a little bit. Yeah.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think I really, was
Thought about it.
that much. Yeah.
All right, that was my question. Was there a thought put into it, and if so, what was the thought?
It was all about contrast, Jim. Contrast.
I'm just asking. I'm not making a positive or negative comment.
Yeah,
I'm just asking for a description of the artistic thought process that brought this about.
Now,
Sounds like, what were you thinking?
now it really, and I see Jim's point that it's not a criticism. The criticism happens in the upper right-hand corner.
Yeah, Robert's right. I'm not making a criticism. I'm just asking, was that intentional, and if so, why? I'm just curious about the artistic thought process that went into creating this.
Inquiring minds want to know.
Have any of you guys ever seen a Rothschild? What's the artist's name that throws the paint?
The Rochard test.
No, it's not the Rochard test.
Jackson
He's
Pollock.
an artist.
Jackson Pollock?
Jackson Pollock. Okay, that's it. Thank you.
Diana said it first.
Thank you, Diana. You look at it, and I wonder what's inside the mind of that person.
It's Sylvia, guys. Come on.
I look at that and I wonder what's inside the person of the mind that buys it.
I totally agree with you.
But okay, so what I'm getting at is that Sylvia put this together, and it's a beautiful piece. So don't get me wrong, it's beautiful. And the question now becomes: tell me, I'm talking to the artist directly. What's in your mind? And that's all this is. So it's not a beat up. It's not a beat up at all. But I will ask you to do this one thing for me.
Yeah.
Len, crop off that back edge, just for my own edification.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's even better. Yeah. That's
all I ask.
Yeah. That makes a big difference right there. All right, moving on to the next
Sylvia.
one.
Thank you.
The next one is Garden Juice Bar. And this one is Sylvia's. And the score is 24.2.
Can you go full frame with that for us, Lynn? Thanks. Yeah,
Nice
and this
bokeh.
one, the shapes and colors in the background are very complementary to this image as far as what was done with the bokeh.
Yeah, that was pretty much it was in a garden with a lot of other flowers, and the light
And
just hit it just right. So it
and this is just curiosity on my part to see an alternate version. Lynn, would you activate crop and pull it up from the bottom right hand? Just pull in from the bottom right hand corner, just up the stem and until you get past the leaf.
yeah.
Just keep bringing it up, and and then bring it in a little bit, to match on the other side, and just bring a little bit of the left side in. Yeah, there we go.
Yeah.
I just wanted to see an alternate to see an alternate tighter version with that bokeh behind it without the leaf.
Yeah, I mean, this actually right here, even though it's bokeh, is a little bit
That
distracting.
vertical line.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. So doing this definitely brings your focus right in on that butterfly and the flower, but also gives you a good shot of that bokeh without being distracting.
Now, Sylvia,
Yes, sir.
you've been here 100 years now. Anything more than 8 months is 100 years. Now, you said something that I'd like for you to get away from.
Okay. What
You
was that?
said the light was just right.
What's wrong with that?
Well, it's more than the light. The light is just right on a lot of cases, but if you don't make the exposure and get the right composition with that light, then it doesn't matter how great a light is.
Okay.
So I'm giving you credit
Trying to
to
give
say
myself
that
more
you
credit.
did this. You were able to capture the light that was there. Not that the light was right or wrong.
Yeah.
You made something out of it.
It's called mindset.
There you go.
Getting adjusting your mindset to so it's about you, not about what has been given to you. Right, Robert?
That's exactly what I'm saying, because oftentimes you'll see two people in the same position with beautiful, perfect light, and they will make two falsely to themselves saying that it's a great photograph. And then you'll see two people against really tough odds, and one will come away and you'll go like, I didn't see that. And we hear that a lot. I didn't see that. Well, it's because that person who made the photograph that has all the attention knows how to utilize the light,
right,
and not just say that that was perfect light.
That's the advantage of going on outings or to workshops with other people that are shooting and then sharing your images afterwards, because you get to see what they saw in a totally different way in the probably one of the same exact spots that you were standing. So that's, the advantage of those things. All right, moving on. This one is Bird Woman Sculpture. This is Karen's. The score is 23.8.
Lynn,
Yeah.
activate your remove tool and get rid of the blue bokeh. Thank you. There you go. That was such a visual distraction. That anomalous spot down low, out in front of her chin and below her chin.
Yeah.
For me, this was kind of an example of photographing someone else's art.
Well, it is, but it isn't, because it's about the bokeh. This is supposed to be about the bokeh. This is a really nice bokeh. So,
In this case, Karen, if you don't mind, do you mind?
Do I mind what?
She doesn't know yet.
What I'm about to do? Okay, you get here, and I want you to think about what you did. You gave equal weight to both the statue and bokeh,
Uh-huh.
and that's where my problem is.
Okay.
Equal weight, and in this composition, I could go for a lot. That's a lot more impactful because it's about bokeh.
I mean, the other thing I was thinking is black and white.
I did do it in black and white. I
Yeah.
did it both ways. Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, my problem was that they both had equal weight.
Yeah. Any other comments? Questions? Okay.
Karen, you okay with that?
I certainly am.
Yeah, this is so much brighter and it's
Okay.
so much, I mean, it's literally heavier.
Yeah.
So could you not could you not decrease the highlights on that?
That wouldn't help because there's too much gray. And this is, remember, it's about bokeh.
I did
Yeah,
that
but-
already. Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I figured you had, Karen.
Yeah.
No, not always.
I like the try to crop.
All right, next one is Cigarette Guy Bokeh or Polka. This one is Richards. The score is 24.2.
I love the portrait.
Mhm.
He looks like he's glowering at you.
He is.
Yes.
Richard, what is it about you and your neighbors?
About my wife.
You and your neighbors. I mean, you come up with these interesting photographs of the people around you.
If you tell me to go out and photograph something, it will be a person.
No, it's not a criticism. I'm saying that you come back with some interesting looks from the people around you.
Where do you live? Where do you live, Richard?
This
He's
I
homeless.
think I took in Dunedin. I live in
wow.
Land O'Lakes.
I-
I'm in Georgia right now.
I have a question now. Would this fall under the same thing as lately there being too much person, not enough bokeh?
Well, the other one was more of a statue. This is a little bit different because this is a moment in time with an actual person who you can manipulate and such. But yeah, I would love to see a little bit more bokeh, a little bit more in the composition, meaning that a little bit more on the top.
Thank you, Lynn.
Yeah.
I mean, this could have used a little bit more space up here.
Yeah,
Yeah, that
that's
white
where-
spot was definitely a distraction, but yeah. A person is not as heavy as a statue, physically and mentally in your mind.
In my mind, that's the same.
In this case, the fact that there's bokeh back there that does support the subject much better than if that had been anything in focus or where you really could see the lines, the vertical, horizontal lines of structure and stuff in the background. The bokeh took all that away and just really drives you to the subject, which that is one of the points of what the assignment was.
Right, I understand. I understand that part. It's just I just wondered, since
Less of him.
his face takes up more than that statue did, I think. And I just wondered. I was just asking, trying to learn something.
Yeah.
What I want to know is what caused that black area that Lynn is just playing around with on that right, that rectangular area.
The vignette.
The door.
A window.
It's a window on a building.
Got it.
Wow.
And that's a
I
tree.
didn't realize that.
Yeah.
Okay.
Oh, okay. You go back to the last photograph. Brian made the of Karen's. You go back to that particular photograph. Brian made the observation that you're photographing something that already exists and means somebody else's art. And so how do you make the assignment itself on something that's already existing more toward the bokeh assignment? How do you do that? Here in this particular crop, it is about bokeh with supported by the person. Go back to the next one. The person then is supported by the bokeh.
Yeah,
So,
but the subject was
it's a
bokeh
flip.
and the criticism you had. I mean, it doesn't matter. I mean, you can move on. It doesn't really
Yeah,
matter.
no, but if you read the criteria on the website for this monthly assignment, either the bokeh had to support the subject or the bokeh was primary.
Correct.
So
So
this
in
is
here,
And to me,
Yeah.
this is just like the other one where the subject overpowers the bokeh. I'm just saying that I don't,
Mhm.
I was asking just to learn something, but I personally do not see any difference between this one and the one before it. Other than it's not a real person or not it's one's a statue, one's a person, but other than that, the subject to
Yeah.
me is the same.
Yeah, and the point Lynn was making a minute ago, if you didn't catch it about the assignment, the assignment gave you the option of having the bokeh be the primary subject or the bokeh be supportive of a subject, as long as it was properly supportive, not just
Right.
incidental.
Yeah, I mean, I get it.
Yeah, when I shoot a portrait, and I think bokeh, the bokeh always has to support the subject.
Right.
That's what this one is about.
Yeah.
In a portrait, that is true. In a
Yeah.
portrait, that is true.
Okay, moving on to the next one. This is Complaining Blue Jay.
Mhm.
This one score is 24.6, and that is one of my images.
I like the fact that the bokeh was perfectly placed to highlight the face and the beak with that white spot.
I didn't do any placing. That was just that was a culling decision.
Well, I'll tell you though, in cases like this, when I'm photographing stuff with bokeh, especially insects, flowers, things like that, and there's a hot spot or a dark spot,
Yeah.
that's when I actually deliberately start trying to manipulate, work, move around, and put my subject either framed in a dark spot or framed in a highlight spot, just like you see here. I will, when I've got insects, spiders especially, and spider webs with bokeh behind them, small flowers, I will work myself to death trying to find an angle to do what's been done here, like Brian said, we're working to do that.
This is the bird is it's a late afternoon light, so you've got really good side light, and the bushes that are behind the bird branch are about 6 feet behind. There is some light coming through him, so that spot by his head is a bit of light coming through the bushes. And the problem is if there's any wind, they're moving around, so I don't know where the spots are going to be. And I'm just shooting as fast as click, 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 and then sitting down and looking at what I've got, and then picking out the one that I think, uses the bokeh the best. And this was obviously the one in that group of images.
So I'm so glad you had this discussion, because I would have spent hours thinking, because you guys are always, talking about bright spots and whatnot, and I would have sat there and tried to tone that down. So I'm so glad.
It's right where you want to look.
Yeah, it's off. If it was off to the side, like with that one I just removed from Richard's image, then I would have removed it. But because it was right in the right spot for his head, it was like, yay, that's that. I got lucky with that one.
Yeah.
It works with the image, not against the, it works with the I should say the subject. It works with the subject, not against the subject.
But that's why I'm glad we go to these things.
All right, next one is City Lights Bokeh. This one is Lee's, and the score is 24.6. This almost looks like
I really want to know about this image. Talk to me.
This has some real interesting visual stuff going on. It looks like a tilt shift effect with bokeh and with motion blur, of the boat that really adds, that's like the icing on the cake.
Yeah, there's like
this is that
right
motion
here
blur
is
on
the
the
only
boat.
place it's in focus.
And it looks like a tilt shift effect, which
What does that
worked
mean?
well in this.
It's a camera that has a joint in it. A lens that actually tips.
Oh.
So it makes it look like a toy.
So it's
There's
a
also
special lens?
You can have special lenses and cameras that do it, or there is post-production effects that do it.
Yeah. This was in analog, Nick analog.
Yep, the Nick analog filters has a tilt shift filter that does this.
And what did it do to it? I'm sorry.
Put all that bokeh in it.
It makes it look like it was shot with a special lens.
Right, but I mean, What is the tilt shift? I mean, I see the ICM.
Okay,
see
what is a tilt shift is way too far down the rabbit hole for
no,
tonight.
no, I'm saying, but what does it do to the photo? Like if he hadn't put the tilt shift thing.
There was no tilt shift in this. It just has that effect.
I'm sorry. Okay.
Let me
Thanks.
just give you a quick idea about it. Whenever you tilt your lens upward, you notice that when you with a wide angle lens or you're doing any sort of type of lens that's on the wide side, the building goes backwards, right? Leans backwards.
Right.
You familiar with that?
No.
That take a wide angle lens and point it up at a building, and then the image leans back.
No, if I do that, it's usually accidental.
Okay. Well, a tilt shift lens would help with that correction.
Okay, got it.
That's what architectural photographers use as tilt shift.
Got it. It's a beautiful shot.
Straighten up things.
Thank you.
Welcome.
My take on this one is I really love the motion blur boat. I would just personally wish that the buildings were a little bit more in focus. It just seemed like that, I'm familiar with that area, and I think I would have liked the shot more if it was less blurred in the background.
Mm-hmm.
You don't know where to look.
For me, I'm going to go the other way and say the fact that they are so blurry is what gets me right to the boat and gets my attention to the boat without distractions.
Right. There's so much going on.
Did you have movement on this? Did you do like ICM?
Long
no,
exposure?
It was just I think a 4-second.
Okay, so you did long exposure.
There was a little, you got motion with the boat going onto the bridge, and then I used the Nick filter with the bokeh to, it put everything in the background out of focus, but it gave you all that beautiful bokeh.
Yeah.
So it was a Nick
from all the lights happening.
So it was a Nick filter bokeh, whatever.
Right. It just took the lights from the buildings and everywhere else in there, and it turned it into a bokeh.
Yeah, the analog filter pack and the Nick filters, the analog filter module, I should say, is very, people don't go there very often.
No.
But I'm going to say it's like a little treasure chest.
Yeah.
There is some really cool things in there if you're willing to spend some time in there. There's a lot of things that will make your image ugly in a hurry, but there's a few real gems in that module.
Yeah.
What is that? The analog? What is it called? Filter?
Yeah, it's just the analog version. Yeah.
Okay.
Okay. Next one is Cactus. This one is also leaves, and the score is 24.
Mm-hmm. Hey, Lynn?
Yeah.
I'd like to see an alternate version of this where I just see the top half where there's more bokeh interacting with the needles of the
bottom. Thank you.
Cactus.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Bottom. That's exactly right. Way better.
Thank you.
Now, let me point out a difference here. Lynn, before you, I want you to go back to the pre-crop. You see all of that space down at the bottom where it's all light?
Here.
All of that, and then the color change. And then that where the color changes, where you, yes.
Yeah, I see that now.
Oh my goodness. I said,
what did you do,
doing?
Just cropped it.
The real image was hidden within the original image.
Okay, got it.
Yeah.
I'm going.
Yeah, there was just too much here of stuff that really wasn't.
Yeah, that color change down at the bottom was not helping me.
And look at when you do that, how much more it's like, oh yeah, wow, now look at that bokeh interacting with the needles and
the
needles
in the
background.
Much more prominent too.
Much more prominent bokeh now.
That's in your face needles. In your face needles.
And Sylvia, this is the reverse of what you did.
All right, next one is Sunflower Profile. This one is Jim McWilliams, and the score is 24.6.
That's beautiful.
Nice.
This,
Hey,
guys,
hey,
this is
Jim.
what you could get when you go to the flower field every
Hey,
year.
Jim,
Yeah.
you should use this as a Zoom background.
No, no, not quite. Almost, not quite.
Only thing I would do is this part right here at the top
Yeah.
sort of doesn't fit. I mean, I know it's because that's the top of the field,
Yeah.
but it pulled my eye away because it's darker than everything else.
I think I got rid of the open sky.
Yeah.
And I
Oh,
was,
good job doing
I was
that.
getting a little bit too close to the flower. So.
Yeah, I just need to
But
get
the
rid of this part.
the shapes and the colors in the out of focus area again support the flower very well.
Yeah, they do.
Again, this is one of those places, the flower fields, or if you go to a garden and you got plants that are, this was one of the flowers that was tall. So you could get it away from everything else and have that background that was far enough away to just create this beautiful, smooth bokeh.
This
What
is
was the
beautiful.
score, Lynn?
It's hard to do that in a botanical garden because everything is so close.
Oh, ooh.
Jim, that makes you a bokeh photographer.
Photographer. Okay,
Oh,
the next one.
I thought we were doing Bokeh.
Bokeh. Okay, this one is Fleur Rouge. I'm not very good with my French.
You
This
can tell
one's
that I was
Marks.
watching
This
the,
one's Marks, and the score is 23.7.
Mark, I'm on your case right now. You know I'm about to get on
You
your
don't
case,
like
right?
the leaves, do you?
Oops.
Tell me why you need those leaves.
I don't know. I just like the leaves being there. It just kind of adds.
If you want the leaves there, I'm going to make another cropping suggestion.
Okay.
Okay.
Lynn, only come in from the right side so that you cut the right hand leaf in half, just as the same that the bottom leaf is cut in half.
It's
Yeah,
kind of hard
there.
because it's got a weird
Yeah.
angle. And I would turn it. I don't know.
No, the rotation's not going to work on this one. Yeah, you want to unrotate it. The rotation hurt it more than helped it. Just back it up just a little bit.
You give it a base.
There, so that you don't have the leaf with a gap between the edge of the leaf and the frame. Now you've got a cut leaf on the right, like you have a cut leaf on the bottom. I'll say if you want to keep the leaves, at least do that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And
I'm still not saying that's the right thing to do to keep the leaves, but
And I would have added a little canvas up here as well because it's a little. I think because this was so far away from here, this one feels a little close to the edge.
Yeah.
Would you
So-
get rid of the bright spot below?
Yeah, that's
that
what I was
stem?
thinking. I should have got rid of the bright spot down there.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah,
that
the
right
bright
there. I
leaf,
probably
yeah.
should have got rid of that.
Yeah.
But
You know what you
if
could do,
do
Lynn?
This, then you don't have to worry about it.
The other thing you could do, Lynn,
Yeah.
you could just decapitate that one bud that's sticking up.
That's true, but it would look strange if you cut it off.
Well, those.
No,
No,
you could just use the-
I mean with
take
a
it in
with a remove
Photoshop.
tool.
Oh,
Yeah,
the remove tool, yeah,
Yeah.
that's true.
Well, go ahead, Brian.
So for me, I like the leaves because to me, the bokeh was really boring and unexciting. And the leaves at least added some point of interest to the photograph for me.
Yeah, but the point of
Yeah.
image is the flower.
Well,
you don't want 2
I'm
points.
I'm gonna say when you crop it without the leaves, I like it less, personally.
Yeah.
Yeah, see, I liked it better. I tried that and I liked it better with the leaves being there. And
I do
stuff.
too.
Now, this is one that if I'd have had more time, or if you'd have done your textured background, this was probably one. If I'd have had more time after your
Yeah. This
class
was
on that,
this
I
is an
would
ideal
add
an
I would
ideal
add the
candidate
textured
for
background.
texture.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep,
If
with
I'd
all the
had,
mid
if you'd have given that another day or two,
with all the mid tones in that background, that would have accepted a texture beautifully.
Another thing that you could do with these things, and people must think I'm crazy when I'm like at the botanical gardens because I'll get a picture, a flower that I really like, and then I'll spend several minutes moving from place to place, and I'm not paying attention to the flower at that point. I'm looking at my background. And then also obviously the edges. So I'm like, okay, is there anything in my edges that are getting in the picture? What does my background look like? Can I find a spot that makes this sets it off? So yeah, you have to move around. I mean, the flower is nicely in focus, which that's always hard to do with these it's a fairly thick flower. And so that's awesome. Yeah, I would have just, if you'd moved around a little bit, probably would have found a better position for it. So
Yeah.
Mark, when did you shoot this?
This one was back, I think the 5th of July, because I think this one was out at the USF Botanical Gardens. I think
Okay,
that's where
all
this
right,
one was
gotcha.
Yeah.
and stuff. So yeah, and my problem is when I'm out photographing, I get in my own little world, and a lot of times
we all do.
I don't think about a lot of things, and then when I get them back and I pull them into Lightroom, it's like, oh, I should have done this a little bit different angle, and a lot of times I miss that when I'm out photographing, but I usually take enough shots that it's like, okay, I got something that I can work with.
Eventually, Mark, you'll hear us in your head. Because we all
And the other thing with the other
McLaughlin.
thing with this one is usually with like reds or yellows, I have a hard time getting the color just right and stuff. It either
red is hard.
too much red and too much yellow, and it just kind of washes, and you lose the detail.
Red and yellow are like the two trickiest colors in flowers in my experience, especially if they're brightly lit. Because your camera may not be even indicating that you have overexposure, but you can overexpose just within those colors, and you can lose the details in petals in yellow and red.
Yeah, you did a good job on these. They're really good.
Mm-hmm.
All right, moving on to the next one. This one is Bluebird. This one is Kathy's, and the score is 24.3.
All right, I'm going to go out on a limb.
Just like the bird.
All right. Tori.
Yes.
Give me your assessment on this photograph.
My assessment?
Yes.
Okay. I think maybe the leaves on the bottom right, maybe a little too much and too distracting. The leaves have a lot of brown spots on it. I would maybe crop from the right corner down there a little bit more. I think the bokeh looks good. It's very bright and pretty even. I'm not sure if I see anything else. What were you looking for, Robert?
Looking for your thoughts.
Okay.
I agree to a certain extent with something Tori was saying. Lynn, I'd like you to pull it in from the right. Now, not too far. Don't cover everything up. Go, just keep pulling. Go slow. Stop. Back up just a little bit. Back up right in between there.
Leaves. Okay.
Yes, yep.
Yeah, then it's
See,
more
I
even.
have to.
It's
I have to
even
speak
with
up.
this. Yeah.
I have to speak up on this one because for me, what made the photo was the fact that part of the bokeh matched the color of the chest of the bird, and you just removed it from the photo. That part on the right side that matches the bird, yeah.
That's why it was in there.
That was the most striking thing about the photo.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, you kind of have to go with, okay, so do I want to match the chest of the bird, or do I want to make the photo more, balanced? Because, yeah, that's a lot of leaves against that tiny little bird.
Right.
Maybe those leaves down in the lower left corner, if you just did a blur on those so they were, just sort of blurred them out. Now, I do like the vine coming up there by the bird and stuff, but the rest of the green leaves down there, probably blur those out or something.
Now, Tori.
Yes.
So you were looking for a response that Jim, myself would tell you you're right or wrong. But yet you heard other responses that say what could have, should have, would have. Now, when you and any of you guys sit there and think that this judging thing is a walk in the park, just remember there are 400 different ideas and opinions to go into something.
Yeah.
Now, Kathy, on my end of it.
That's very true. And I have in my head, I am very focused on the rule of thirds. So I don't very often do like a square photograph or with something in the middle. So my mind always goes to the rule of thirds.
And
so I don't
I
know
am going to say to you to stop. I'm seriously, I'm saying to you to stop. And the reason why is because we tend to apply rules to just about everything. Diana said, hey, I would have burned down that little bright spot. But simply because I heard that so many times, I've been dinged for it.
Yeah.
And we say the person is too far forward, or it's a statue. We say all these things.
Yeah.
However, on the other end of that is that very seldom do we examine the actual photograph. And I swear, I really do hate to say this, but Brian made an excellent point about the two colors that were similar.
Yeah.
Right.
Mark, who was Mark made a thing, says, okay, for me, I need a little bit more blur for this to complete work for me. You said, hey, look, I need thirds. But what I'm getting at is that as a judge, we have to examine all of that.
Yeah.
And still we're not right.
Yeah.
I like what you just did, Lynn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I like that too.
Yeah.
I blurred this out a little bit using, really reduced the clarity using a linear gradient, and then just cut it off so that you still got some of that color, but there's just not so much leaf. And actually, in a way, it does also, by reducing the stick, it makes the bird more prominent as well.
Yeah.
I like that. I like that crop.
Yeah. With that extra stuff down there was just outweighing the bird, but now it's more balanced, and we get to keep that color.
Yeah.
And Kathy approves.
Everybody's happy now. Everybody's happy.
That's what
Well,
this
I'm
is all
impressed you
about.
got the. I was impressed you
It
got
is
the
a
bird
group
stand
effort.
Always
All right.
looking for improvement.
Wait a minute, Victoria had something to say about this.
No, I said I was impressed you got the birds sitting still. I've been trying to shoot the bluebirds here, and they're just so darn fast. They hardly ever stop for anything.
Yeah.
So very good.
Well, they happen to like that particular perch, so I can sit there and wait for them to show up. So
Yeah, it's always good to watch the behavior, because that helps a lot with capturing birds.
Yeah.
What did you say, Lynn?
I said behavior is probably the most important thing. And if you find a spot where a couple years ago, I had a hummingbird, and a hummingbird is what, 2 inches tall? And he kept going back to the same branch. And I kept catching him on that same branch over and over again, because I watched him and I thought, he's stopping, he's going to stop at that branch, and he would go someplace off, and 2 minutes later he'd come back to that branch. And birds are very routine. They have habits. And if you watch them long enough, you'll find places where they stop for, even if he's only stopping for 2 seconds. I'm shooting at 1/2000th of a second. I'm going to catch him if I know he's going to be there. So you just got to be ready for them to be there. And so, behavior is, with birds or any animals of any kind, behavior is 90% of the trick. So.
Yeah, my human behavior is very similar. I can't go past the bathroom and not stop.
Oh, yeah. All right, moving on. Next one.
Thanks for sharing, Robert.
Dark-haired singer. This is Richards, and the score is 24.7.
That's a great shot.
Yeah.
Yep, Richard, you did it again.
Did what?
And so you're able to manage to capture these expressions along, I mean, in your photographs that are somewhat meaningful.
Yeah, I really like this one too. I wouldn't have expected such a beautiful bokeh in a concert scene like that. And that was
But you're not Richard.
Now,
Yeah.
did you mask and burn down the background?
Yes, I had to. This was a difficult thing to shoot because the
Okay.
concert itself, the
I'm
performers
gonna
were in shade and the outside was in sun. So I had to,
and that's
select the
and
background.
and I'm not saying that's a bad thing. That was a good thing that you did it, but it missed in between the cord and the mic stand in two places. The mask didn't get in the holes.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, you gotta check. You gotta make sure you catch all the little holes when you do a mask.
I thought I was careful. I turned the bright orange mic cord into green so it wouldn't stand out.
Well, that was good, but yeah, you missed this brightness in here. It's really
I see that.
very noticeable. Yeah. But yeah, the bokeh.
I didn't notice it until Mr. Eagle Eye pointed it out.
I know, I didn't see it either. I didn't see it either.
And don't you worry, Richard, if you leave it in, somebody in here will find it. Everybody knows that.
But now it's standing out. I just see it all the time now.
All right, next one is early morning. This one is Karen's. The score is 23.
All right,
There's. Go ahead, Robert.
Now, Karen.
Yep.
You do have bokeh, yes, and you do have those flowers that are down in the middle portion.
Mm-hmm.
But you also have these things that are in the foreground, and I don't have a place to land.
Can you speak a little bit lower, because that's what Charlie said and I ignored him.
All right, grab your crop tool and help me with this one, Lynn.
Okay.
All right, two things. Pull in from the left-hand side till you get to where the plant with the flowers starts. Keep going. There. Stop it. Back up. You can back up. Back up. Yeah, that's good enough there. And now bring up from the bottom and get rid of as much of that sand as you can. No, I mean just straight up from the bottom, not. Yeah, bring it straight up from the bottom and get rid of. Yeah, there we go. All right, now let's look at that.
Bokeh is more prominent, yeah.
But these things are still, I think, because they're out of focus. I don't know. They're kind of distracting too.
So I'm going to go the other way on this one. I think you should have the beach in and get rid of the bokeh. I'd like the photo
And put it in general.
But then you don't have the assignment.
Got the option, right? Yeah.
The bokeh was a big distraction for me. I didn't think it added. I thought it detracted from the photo.
It's the pattern of the bokeh is, as I think is, I'm with Brian. The pattern is not supportive. The pattern of the bokeh is distracting.
Yeah.
What if you took the flowers out completely and just kind of went over to the upper left side with the grass and the bokeh in the background?
Well, you're talking about like this?
No, the other side.
Going up from the bottom.
The other way.
Yeah.
Going all the way up, getting rid of the flowers and just having the grass.
They're talking about making a picture out of the top left corner of the image.
Oh, okay.
Of your crop earlier.
What, here? I'm not.
The top left corner. They're talking about the top. Go to the top. Leave the top left corner in is, I think, what they're trying to tell you.
Oh, this.
The crop she had earlier. The crop she had earlier.
Oh.
Not
Actually,
kind of in the middle.
No, that's not what I was talking about.
Yeah.
I was thinking more like right in the middle where that blue arch is.
Oops.
But leave the sand out and just the grass, the upper part of the grass. Don't even think about grounding it.
Sorry, like this?
Yeah, and then bring it up. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going. Keep going.
Oh,
Somewhere in there.
Actually, yeah,
Tap the letter F on that one.
It would
Tap
have
F
worked
on
except
that.
for this blue thing. If it was a bunch of bokeh in there, it probably would have worked. But this thing is sort of messing it up here. Looks like
It's
a
interesting eye, Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, tap the letter F for me. Come on, I want to see this full. No, leave that.
No.
No, leave that. Go to full frame. Full screen.
Looks like a bunch of cotton balls.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
I'm with you, Victoria.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that takes out the really bright bokeh that was over on the right-hand side. And yeah, the grass is now part of like an abstract.
Yeah. I move it kind of to the right a little bit more.
Yeah.
The whole.
Yeah, Karen is hating the hell out of us.
I'm sure.
But Charlie's laughing.
He's in the other room. That's why I said talk
It's
low.
like, you listen to me from now on.
Well, he thinks Robert's the man anyway. So
Robert has that effect on a lot of our husbands, Karen.
All right, moving on.
I'm glad you liked it.
The next one is Ready for Flight. This one is Susan's, and the score is 24.1, or excuse me, 24.2.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, in this case, the hard contrast and deep saturation actually worked with the subject on this one. This one's very different than a lot of the other ones with the soft muted kind of palette in the background. This one is very contrasty and very saturated, but yet with this particular subject, that's not a bad thing.
It was a very good looking piece, composed very well.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, the only thing is the focus is a little off at the wrong. It's on his scale.
Yeah.
On his head. So that's the only thing I have a problem with is
It's it's where the back wings are, not the front wings and the head.
Yeah. You always want
So
the eyes to be in focus.
So I was watching some videos on, for this assignment, and I went to David, what's that guy who does all the TK9? I can't think of it. It's Dave somebody or other, Dave Kelly. And one of the things he was talking about with Bokeh was shooting the subject like an insect or a bird or a flower at like f/18, where that subject was really sharp, and then shooting the background where it's softer, and then bringing it in kind of, I guess, as a texture. So I tried that, but it didn't work. And
that's a very tricky technique to execute well.
Good. I don't feel bad.
Yeah, it is not. These people on YouTube, they will make things look easy with their photography. But when you're out in the field, unless you do this all the time in order to perfect it, it's not going to work for you one or two times.
It can be done, and it works very well when it's done well. But it is difficult to execute that technique well.
And make it look like it's not faked.
Yeah.
Now, let me go to stay on this for just a second. Susan, compositionally, this is where a step, I know you can't control this, but a step slightly to your left would actually put that curve in more in the dark area. This curve into that window there. And that would make this, especially had you had the eyes in focus, that would make this in the form of excellence.
Yeah, that's what I was saying before. You gotta move around your subject. I know the problem this guy is probably didn't stay there very long, but you move around your subject and try different. When you got that beautiful bokeh behind your subject, just take a bunch of images, because you as quickly as you can, because if he's gonna fly away, you gotta be quick. But you will end up with some better images if you take multiple images rather than just one.
Yeah, and not just random either.
Yeah.
Look at the dark areas, look at the light areas, and then see, can you maneuver to frame your subject within a dark area or within a light area and not crossing between them.
So do I understand that you think I should have placed that's a piece of wrought iron?
Right here.
Yeah, that I should have placed it more in the center in the dark?
Yes.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, yeah, ideally we don't want everything in the center, but in this case, it wasn't so much the center, it was the dark spot. It could have been, the dark spot could have been over here, but as long as it was in the dark spot, there would be more contrast between here and here.
Yeah, one step to the left would have made much less of the bright green area on the left and placed you still wouldn't have even necessarily had the dragonfly in the center. It's just a matter of you taking a step to the left with the camera.
So why can't she just burn down the green bright spot?
Yeah, you can, but it still doesn't place the subject within a framed area of the bokeh.
Got it.
I see what you're saying.
I mean, I know what you're saying, but I'm just saying since she didn't do it.
But in this case, you wouldn't want to, necessarily tone that down too much because the saturation is part of what's working in this image.
Okay.
Now, the whole thing about it is, as I was mentioning to Mark earlier, is that when you make the picture, is to not rely so much on post, but to rely on the situation that's in front of you.
Yeah.
Because you usually have a lot of options. As long as things stick around. It's a little easier with a flower. It's not so easy with a bird or a bug.
Mm-hmm.
So you have to be quick. All right, next one is Love Potion number 9.
Ooh.
This is a great example of making the image, not taking the image.
This is Lourdes's, and the score is 25.1.
Wow.
This was thought through and executed front to back, beginning to end.
Whose was this?
Lourdes.
This is where the student becomes the teacher now.
I think so.
Somebody is a little jealous in that house.
Maybe.
My favorite photo of the night, and it jumped out at me immediately when I saw it as being just really good.
Thank you.
It's a good
You
shot.
guys, did you use what, blue Christmas lights?
No, it was a white light.
What light? Okay.
Yeah.
A white light, but how did it get blue?
Magic.
Magic.
Part of the magic potion.
What?
Part of the magic potion.
So did you shoot this? There's a reason why I'm asking, and it'll show up later, but did you shoot this with a black background, Lee?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Wait. Who shot is this?
It's mine. He's talking. to me.
Why do you have a spokesman answering for you now?
He's answering faster than I do.
I mean, you got a representative now answering for you. Wow, Lee, you have been.
He's the
roles have
agent.
changed.
Yep.
I was the assistant.
He's the agent.
We use that dark background.
Wow.
It's a great shot.
Yeah.
It was indoor. I had a wine glass first, but it was not working. Like, no. So I went to the bathroom and found this bottle. I said, oh, this is the one.
Mm-hmm.
Hopefully
Well
you
done.
didn't dump out the perfume.
The shot is so stupidly simple, but so incredibly effective.
Yeah.
And the colors.
Yep.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Like I say, this was thought up, planned, put together, executed,
Yep.
and exhibited.
Sometimes the best thoughts come out of the bathroom.
Yeah, and a lot of crap comes out of there too.
Okay.
We're going downhill.
Thanks, Leslie.
Uh-huh.
All right, moving on, guys. Next one is Chihuli's Glass Flower.
Mm-hmm.
This one is Jim McWilliams, and its score is 24.3.
Mm-hmm. I've got two things. Well, I have something to say and then a question. That's visual impact is fantastic with this image. You look at this and it jumps off the screen at you. It's very beautiful to look at. And Jim McWilliams, I'm going to propose that with a 16 millimeter lens, you didn't really have that much out of focus going on, and this was masked and blurred.
I think it was composited, to be honest with you. Nah,
Composite, okay.
No, no, I was trying a lot of different combinations.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be honest with you, I'm not really sure. A lot of people were shouting.
If it were mine, I would have removed the white streaks in the center
Yeah,
there.
I agree with you. Those bother me.
The specular highlights on the glass, yeah.
Yeah.
But the
And it
what
was
what you
originally-
did to achieve the background worked, because I definitely know that wasn't actually the way it looked when you shot it.
No, probably not. But, like I say, five people at home inside my head here. And 3 of them were at the car wash that day.
In this instance, and a lot of times this is with a lot of images, it's a bad thing, and it's like it's a telltale giveaway, and it's a bad thing. You can it showed it's an instant tell as to what was going on.
Yeah.
With the image, if you look, especially at the brightest spots of the green, if you zoom in, there's a glowing area around it, especially over on the left side.
Son of a gun.
And that's your tell right there.
See that glow? That's normally a tell of what's been done in this case too. However, in this case, being that that's illuminated glass that's shiny and everything, it works as it looks like that glass is glowing and has an aura. This is a rare case of where that fuzz around it from the blurring actually
Can you zoom that in again, Glenn?
actually worked in favor on this one.
I see where. So that's where you know that a mask has been applied, or
A mask and a blur.
Yeah.
Not just a mask, but a mask with a blur, because that's where it took the edge of the subject and blurred it
right?
as well. But in this case, it's a rare case of, okay, well, that it worked with the image instead of against the
And
image.
it's doing it down here as well. So, but it
I
looks
am
like
nothing
it's
if not
glowing. Yeah.
rare.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Hey, Lynn, what was the score?
24.3.
Okay, thank you.
All
You know
right.
what's really impressive is that, Jim, you look at these pictures and you can instantly see what we have done to fix it.
Been looking at a lot of pictures for a lot of
Scary.
years.
I'm glad somebody can.
All right, next one is
Thank you.
Hummingbird. And this one is Kathy's, and the score is 24.5.
Bokeh, bokeh, bokeh.
Mm-hmm. That's very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Enter.
That's luck of the draw.
Yeah, that
Can't control where they are.
that elevates this image of a hummingbird into like a magical realm.
Yeah.
Instead of just like the normal natural. Oh yeah, here's another one of 10,000 photos I've seen of a hummingbird with trees and shrubs and sky behind it.
This is Harry Potter's hummingbird.
Potter's hummingbird. He has such tiny little feet. It's beautiful, Kathy.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Thank you.
Kathy came here one day and we scored her images early on, and she was a little like, I don't know if I'm going to stay with this group. I'll show them. And then she just breaks out all of these great photographs.
It was
Well,
luck.
Kathy, you showed us.
Yeah.
It was just luck. Come on.
Not
You
with
say
flying
that.
birds.
You say that, but it's more than luck.
Seeing it, you got to see it. Like I said, and it's not just the shooting; it's the culling. It's looking at your images and seeing, whoa, there's one that works.
Mm-hmm.
But one
That's the
will
hard
not work
part.
if you're not there to make the images and continue with it.
Yeah.
It looks like the bird's coming out of a smoky area.
Mhm.
Well, all it's missing is a cigar on the end of his beak.
Yeah, well, they were all flying around the feeder, and this one just happened to go over a ways away from the feeder with the sky on one side and the trees on the other, and it just happened.
Yeah.
What were you shooting at? Does it say up there?
I'm sorry, what?
I was wondering what you were shooting at. I can't see it.
1/2000.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
That's standard with yeah, if you go a little bit faster, you won't get this blur on the wings. That's a pretty standard shutter speed for a hummingbird.
Okay.
In this case, I'm going to say that little softness at the edge of the wings works with the bokeh. It doesn't make it too sharp against the bokeh, which would actually play against it.
Right. I mean, with birds, if you go just a little bit, even if I like went to 1/1600th of a second, it would blur both wings, and it gives a much more impression of movement, because this kind of makes them stop. Although in this case, we do have a little bit of blur on their wings, so it does give some movement there. But a lot of you'll just see the wings are stopped.
Frozen.
And it looks kind of weird because the bird just, the birds wings are moving like crazy. So it's all a matter of what you're trying to convey with that bird picture. Moving on to the next one. This one is light bulb bokeh.
Oh man,
this one is Lourdes as well. And
oh my God, she did the other one too. This is my second favorite.
I told you, the student becomes the teacher now.
I really like the color palette in there. You got the orange and yellow, and then you have the complementary blue that so it's not all within one color palette. That complementary blue color. In this, I said it on another image before, but in this case here, again, icing on the cake.
Talk about it, Lourdes.
Yeah, I bought these Christmas lights, but they're big, and it was not working. It was like, we didn't know how to organize them, but at the end it worked out.
What was the score?
25.1.
When you were in the bathroom, did you turn on the lights?
Actually, this was in the living room.
Okay, I'm just saying, you're using your own words.
And I notice you still have some incandescent bulbs around that aren't an LED bulb.
I had to. We had to buy a dimmer to lower the light, so we could get the reflection in the back.
You did very well with that, and like I say, you couldn't have done this with an LED bulb.
No.
I will tell you that this will make a 4x4 foot image in a big any kind of hotel.
Thank you.
You can get Robert as your agent. He also has the people to sell to.
Okay, there you go. Sell it.
Awesome. All right, next one is Xenia at the Zenith. Can't say that. This one is Jan's, and the score is 24.1. And she could not be here tonight, Robert, and she said, please don't tell her while she's not here that you want to kill her. Send me an email.
Said that, don't tell her that, because we're gonna kill her.
Yeah, because you made a comment evidently at another one of her of the exhibit comment nights, and she wasn't here, that you just wanted to kill her, and she's like, please tell Robert not to say he wants to kill me.
Well, I do want to kill her on this one. And I think she knows why.
Why? I'll make the question.
Well, why do you give me a reason to chop off the side?
Yeah.
Give me a reason.
At least now the top and the bottom flower are chopped the same.
Yeah.
It's balance. It's a matter of balance.
balance chop?
Yeah, okay, but balance it off a little bit more to the left.
What do you want me to do?
I don't want you to do. I want you to give me more of the. I'm saying if you're gonna chop it off the left side as well.
This much?
Yeah, just a little. Yeah, if you're gonna chop it on both sides. Don't give me the fullness of one.
Yeah.
And our hero be chopped.
I'm not sure why she did that. That's very un-GN-like.
I'm saying, anytime you chop the hero, then don't let the supporting cast have all of the window.
All right. But the bokeh is pretty nice on this one.
Bokeh is excellent on this one.
Yeah.
But then you talk about balance. This is more balanced to me. Tap the letter F for me. See, I'm not competing with this one side because the other side is gone.
Yeah. Makes sense. Any other
Again,
comments?
it makes sense put together to put them together to make dollar bills. That's why we make sense.
Any other comments? All right, move to the next one. This one is Xenia Zen. This one is also GN's, and the score is 24.
This is much better.
Yeah, bokeh is not as nice on this one.
The what is not as nice?
One note.
The what is not as nice, Lynn?
The bokeh is not as nice on this one as the other one because it's all green. I mean, it's bokeh.
This is one of those where this is one of those where if it wasn't bokeh night, I would beg for something more in focus. But
in this case, I got a beautiful watercolor impression from this one.
Very dreamy.
And this like I say, this looks to me, the impression of a watercolor, made with a photograph. And I don't dislike the bokeh. I like this a lot because of the watercolor effect.
I mean, but everything doesn't have to be in focus, guys.
Well, hold on here. You see those little lines, those little yellow lines in the middle of this deal? That's what's carrying this photograph.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Those are sharp lines.
Yep. Everything else is nice and dreamy, soft.
Right. And so I do have a plane of sharpness to land.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
So, Jan, what do you call it? You have been revived. The last one, that composition thing was a little off.
Yeah.
But this one, you revived.
Yeah, she could have maybe put a little more canvas right here on this side.
Yeah.
It's a little close. But
I agree.
Yeah, it needs just a little bit, and that's super easy to do now with the generative expand in Photoshop. You can do it in like 2 seconds.
And just Jan, if you're gonna be watching this later, it's called letting your photograph breathe.
All right. Give it a little room. I want to have it slammed up against the edge.
Unless there's a reason.
Yeah. And you're chopping it off on both sides. Okay. This is Bokeh Bulb. This one is Diana's. And this score is 24.1.
Now, I do want to do something to this particular photograph, and it involves a radio. And I want to put a radio right in the middle of this. Click and drag. Yeah, now bring it, bring the center part in to the filament. Yes. And, okay, now let's just open up the value just in this area right here. There you go. I want there to be a light on the outside, not to be so bright as the light on the inside.
Yep.
Say that again.
The filament is
how much I worked to get rid of all that stuff that was on there.
The filament is very dim compared to everything else, and what Robert just did makes it brought the filament up, and all those the the highlights and reflections on the glass, which, you know, it makes it now look like the bulb is more, you know, it gives it the lit up effect.
Right. See how
In the
dark it
original
is?
image, it looks like it's almost burned
I
out.
should I should have just left it alone the way I shot it.
And this is what I'm saying about those things where you overthink things, and we have these ideas about rules rather
Man,
than
I
the
sat
natural
there
state
and
of something.
freaking took all that stuff out. Oh well.
It's back.
Next one is
What was my
in-flight.
score?
Oh, your score was 24.1. This one is in flight. This is Leslie's, and the score is 23.5.
And here is why. The foot.
Huh?
The foot.
Yeah.
The foot's fine. What, you
You only
mean
get
this
one?
foot?
Yeah.
What, you think the foot's been cut off?
Yeah.
No.
Get
Did you
peg
do
leg.
something to this, Leslie?
It was tucked in.
It's tucked in. I didn't do anything to
No,
it.
I know it is.
No,
Just
no,
wants to
somebody
see
asked.
it.
Leslie, I
Somebody
would have
asked
given
me.
you higher.
Okay.
Leslie, did you put this through Topaz?
Uh,
Do you even have Topaz?
I do have Topaz, but I'm trying to remember on this one.
Yeah, this one, you probably had to crop it a lot. And anytime you crop a bird picture, you're going to end up with a lot of this noise in the background.
Noise.
And it is a little, it's out of focus right here on the eye. And I would have put this through Topaz Photo AI, and it probably would have gotten rid of this like noisy stuff back here, and also would have sharpened up the eye on the bird a little bit. It looks like it's in focus here, but not on the eye.
Yeah, I think the foot is in focus, not the eye. That could be adjusted with AI sharpening.
Yeah.
However, contrary to Lynn, in this instance, this is one of those cases where it's like I look at that and it's like I actually like the grain interacting with the bokeh in this one. That bokeh is so soft. The granularity of that grain in this one that I see, I find that visually appealing. The way it contrasts with that very, very, very soft background. This is one of those cases where I would look at that and say, no, I wouldn't take that out. This look right here. This is the reason why you can spend money and buy filter packs to add grain to your photos to make them look like this.
Yeah, grain is not always a bad thing.
Well, it's so early in the morning because once the sun comes out, there's too much glare and stuff. But my ISO was up pretty high, but the grain doesn't bother me. So
yeah,
I didn't
sometimes the ISO noise grain is ugly, and sometimes it's not. And this time it's not. This looks like a filter that you would add grain to the image, although it's organic in this case.
Yeah.
But a lot of editing programs have grain sliders. You can add grain, and you can buy filters to add it.
Well, those trees are probably 50, 60 feet away.
Yeah, it's perfect. Yeah, when they're that far away, it's awesome.
The bird isn't, but the trees are.
Yeah. Well, you always want the background as far away from your subject as you can get it. It's not always easy to do.
But really, Robert, the whole foot not showing, it bothers you?
Yeah, because it runs along the edge of the dark line.
Because what? I'm sorry?
It runs along that line right as a dark line.
Yeah. It almost looks like it's been cut off, but it probably hasn't because they do.
Yeah, I know it hasn't. But that foot, let's say, even if I clone the foot over on the other side as some sort of a curvature, something to complete it, then this would go very, very high in as far as an agreement with Jim on this one. But it's that lack of that foot that keeps drawing me down. The wings are the shutter speed you did for the wings to have that motion of back sweep the color combination, the softness of it, the palette itself, the greenery palette itself is very, very pleasing. It's the foot.
Well, that's a bird that comes back every year. He only has one foot. I'm lying. I made that up. I mean, the bird does come back every year, but he does have 2 feet. Okay.
Next one is Barbie's date. This is Tori's. Wait a minute. This is Tori's, and the score is 24.5. You guys,
Tori.
Yo.
There's something a little amiss going on here with Ken.
Yeah.
Oh, Robert.
I did not notice that, Robert.
Aren't they cute though?
Well, I don't know. I'm just wondering what Ken is about to do with Barbie's arm there.
Yeah, he's just giving her a little touch and say, "Hey, you want to go to the movies?" And
that's not the way I read it.
Have some dinner.
You would, because you're a pervert,
and I own it.
Yes,
so
you do.
I really like this photo too. How did you do the bulbs in the background? How did that come to be?
Okay, so those are Christmas lights, and I gotta say though, I took 100 pictures of this couple here because the distance to the Christmas lights in the back, I had to keep pulling them closer and closer to me to get that blurry look on the lights. And I kind of thought, hey, that's kind of romantic, but I was trying to be creative. So you see the dirt in the front of her feet, that's actually coffee grounds.
Oh.
So I was really setting it up to try to just make like a creative scene, and I use toys sometimes just to kind of play with the lighting. So yeah, that was the whole thought behind that.
Well, I thought that one was Jim's.
That's great exercise,
Yeah, right.
To do what you're saying, working with toys, experimenting with the lighting, and see what's going on. That is a great teaching exercise to do that. And I like the creativity that went into all the work you did with the setup. I applaud that you went to all this trouble setting this up and working this and doing this and and having a like we saw some other stuff, a cool idea and putting it together and executing it.
Right.
And I didn't know that at some point Ken started looking like a 90s boy band singer. I remember Ken looking more like a surfer dude.
Yeah, you get
a
all
lot of
kinds.
hair.
Yeah, a lot of hair.
Just saying. Maybe Ken stepped out and this is Keith.
Yeah, something like that.
Oh yeah. But I thought they look, I just kind of like the lighting. I mean, you can tell that it's set up in my living room, but I just like that lighting in the background. It was just an idea.
I don't understand how we can tell that it was set up in your living room.
Well, you can see there's like ceramic pot right there, that dark area on the left side there.
I've never been in your living room is what I'm saying.
Yeah, right.
Yeah, we don't know it's your living room. It could be that, out on the plaza.
Yeah,
Hotel
right.
lobby.
Right.
Yes.
All right.
Len, I did like your crop there.
Yeah, good job. Yeah, I agree with that too, Lynn. I like that.
A little bit too much on the sides for you. Just a little bit too much.
Oh, okay. Right.
That brings you. Remember, if your subject's got to be you want your subjects to be more prominent, and the less stuff you have around them, the more prominent your subject's going to be. So,
Right. That makes sense.
all right. Next one is not much farther. This one is Leslie's, and the score is 24.4.
You do the same thing.
Another toy. I like it.
I thought that was fascinating too. I was like, oh, look at the setups with the miniatures here.
Yeah.
That's a whole genre unto itself as well. Is setting up scenes like this with miniatures and toys. There's some people that go to great extents to set up scenes like this with toys.
Gonna try to get somebody to come talk to us about that next year.
Cool.
Did we have somebody one time that did the thing with the Legos?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Shelley Corbett. Yeah.
Yeah.
So Leslie, how'd you do this?
Well, I ordered that little car on Amazon, and it's sitting on a stool that I have, and that's just some wood from my yard and some lights in the bushes.
How'd you do the headlights? Does it have a? How did you do that?
Oh, well, I had to watch many videos.
Yeah, are those Christmas lights?
I had
Are
to, but
Are
but
those
I
Christmas
think,
lights?
what's that?
Are those Christmas lights?
No, I made them in Photoshop.
Oh.
But I thought I kept going with should they be higher or down lower, and I just said, you know what, never mind, whatever. And so
What's the car sitting on?
a footstool.
Oh, wow.
How'd you
And
do
then
the
you just
headlights?
created false light. You just
Yeah, I just made I made false light in Photoshop
For the headlights is what you're talking
the
about.
headlights. Yeah.
for the headlights and the tail
Yeah.
lights too.
Yeah, the
The
bokeh
taillights
is
too.
the bokeh you said was lights in the bushes, right?
Oh, yeah. Sorry, yeah.
Lights in the huh? Okay, never
Yeah,
mind.
yeah. Good job taking the effort to set that up and work that. It takes a lot of work and a lot of time to set up shots like this
And you don't know
make
how
them
many
come together.
mosquitoes were out there. So many mosquitoes that day. Oh,
Too many mosquitoes.
thank you though.
Thanks. Very cool. And last but not least of the assigned is Dreaming in Purple. This one is Tori's and the score is 23.7.
In this one, there's a little too much of the foreground stuff blurring into the flower that's the hero. And yes, Lynn, that sharp thing over there on the left is competing with the other stuff. That can go away.
I mean, I don't know. Would you just cut it off or?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Looking at like something like that. More.
So you're saying the blurriness in front of the hero should have been kind of maybe to the side or not there at all?
Well, right where Lynn just circled that
Right.
area, the bottom of that center flower where it's just so hazed out and
Yeah.
and blurred into something in front of it. It leaves too little of sharp and focus above that. That's the purple flower.
Yeah,
Right.
obviously you was shooting through the plants, but I
Yeah.
think you could have gone up a little bit and gotten a little bit, or I don't know, at a different angle to get more of this actual flower.
Right.
So, and still be shooting through, but have it less shooting through.
Okay, so it's covered up too much.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I was shooting through. I was thinking about Jackie, what she was teaching.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
To shoot
Yep.
through the flowers to try to get.
You just got to be careful that you're not shooting through so much stuff that it's blocking your subject.
Yeah.
Yeah, because
Yep,
this is the more interesting part. You've got this part that's all in focus, the top part, but this is the
Right.
part that's actually more interesting, and you've kind of got that blurred out. So
Right.
yeah, and it's trying different angles and moving around and
I did, yeah. I moved around a lot, but it's like you can't really see it on the little camera
Yeah.
until you put it on your computer. You're like, oh my goodness, I got that totally wrong.
Hey, that's part of the deal.
Yep.
All right.
Okay.
I
get it.
We got 6 generals to do, and we'll be done. All right. The first one is promontory. I can't say this word.
Promontory Point.
Promontory Point. And it is, this one is Allen's, and the score is 23.9.
Look at the texture.
All the reality.
There's a great use of texture in this image.
Yeah.
Yep,
Alan put up the class.
that was well done.
I so wish Alan was here to explain this.
Why? What do you want to be able to explain?
Well, I want to know what his thinking was behind all of this.
Well, I think this is probably something out along the railroad, the Union Pacific Railroad, that was built, some sort of like reenactment, and he just wanted to make it look old, so he put the texture on there to make it look like an old photo.
Promontory Point is in Utah, and it's where the driving of the Golden Spike was, the joining of the railroads, and they have a train that comes in, and they do a reproduction of the driving of the Spike, and they have people in costume.
Right.
Oh yeah, well, he did a wonderful job. There's one thing that's a major problem though. Left-hand side, second person in, over their head.
Right there.
Yeah, that spike coming right out of their head.
and halos on the hills on the left.
Yeah.
Got to fix that.
Yeah, a little bit, the little halos right there.
Uh-huh.
Other than that, it's cool. It's a.
I bet you Brian saw those.
I was just about to say, you'll be shocked to know I didn't notice that.
Wow, Brian.
I was captivated by the period costumes and the texture and the middle of the photo. Those highlights are off to the left, so I didn't see them over there.
Great use of texture, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, darn, Alan.
Next one is 7-4 fire. This one is Fongs, and the score is 23.
I'm gonna say this: I appreciate the effects that have been done to this, because you see so many pictures of fireworks that are just pictures of fireworks. They're snapshots. That are, you just see the same thing over and over again. And then here we get to see fireworks, and it's elevated, into an artistic realm here. It's not just another snapshot of fireworks, and I appreciate that Fong took some time to do something with this to enhance it.
My problem with this photograph, and I mean major, major, major problem, Fong, I cannot believe you did this to me. You did this to hurt me. In the lower right-hand corner down where there's a blue light. Now, that bridge, on that bridge.
Over there.
Yeah, bridge, yeah.
With the bridge, come down, there's blue, it's blue.
Oh, right there?
To the left of where you are. Yes!
There.
Change that color.
It fights with everything else.
I lost. I just cut this.
Make it red.
Yeah, make this red.
Make it
red.
I'm gonna go with these blue lines out here.
No, it does not. It's not enough.
I'm just kidding.
I thought the water was kind of grainy. What are we doing here?
That in Clearwater?
Clearwater, yeah.
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 It's just that one little area, make it red. And therefore I can then follow the entire photograph throughout. I don't want to stay stuck in that little blue area.
I don't understand. Lost.
Down at the bottom. Don't want to stay stuck there.
Oh. Okay.
Yes. There you go. All
Okay.
that did was be red.
It's just I'm sort of not making it red, but
Okay.
No, you've done it. So now the bridge can go on about his business.
It's a terrible job of making it red, but it's red.
Yeah, but I'm saying it can go on about his business, and then I can enjoy the entire photograph.
Okay.
You
Just
stopped
make
me
this
right
red.
down to that spot right there.
Just make
Okay,
it red.
got it.
Okay.
I knew you would get
it.
Next one is Summer Lily. And it's Fong's as well. The score is 23.2.
This has a very smooth look to it, calming, nice with it. Everything has smooth texture to it, but then there's a couple spots. Just gotta take out those spots that are there, and there's some dark, looks like sensor spots on the right in the blue water,
right here.
and a couple, and even that where you see something underwater, there's a little line right to the right of the reflection of the flower in the water. That's something underwater. Just taking that stuff out would then not break up the beautiful smooth surface of the water.
That was exactly my impression of that photo as well. That's what bothered me about it.
All these little lines.
And
oh yeah,
Lynn, you couldn't wait to crop it, right?
Yeah, I couldn't wait to get that thing off the top.
Yeah, I know.
See what
Couldn't
I'm
wait.
saying?
I saw you
started
chomping
here?
at the bit.
You got all this stuff up here. You don't need that.
Right.
Okay.
There. That's very nice.
I
right there.
There's still stuff that needs to be cleaned up, but yeah, all these little spots are very distracting and take you away from the pretty flower. So.
Okay.
Okay, next one is Portal to Another Dimension. This one is Susan's, and the score is 22.9.
Susan Huckabee,
I'm here.
you see the lower corners, right and left?
I do.
I so wish that they had mimicked the other side of the top portions.
Well,
Lighter.
I'll be
In what
honest.
way?
I left them intentionally because this came to me as a portal to another dimension or a portal of souls, and that's the sky, and that's your clouds. That's your portal to the dimension. I mean,
I get it. I do get it.
I'm 100% in agreement with Robert. The corners distracted me from looking down the middle of the portal.
Okay.
Let's see if we can help this.
Every time I use a linear gradient, I think of you, Lynn.
Yeah. This would definitely be a case for generative fill in Photoshop.
Absolutely.
Yeah, it just needs a little more of this. Yeah, so it would match. So it would look like all of this was sky on the outside.
And then I would be going down the portal.
Yeah.
But now it looks like something's on top of something, rather than me going down into something.
Making things blue.
What is that though? What did you take a picture of?
That was the Chihuly.
That's a
Yeah,
That's a-
with the
that's
bottom
a
of the bowl.
one of those Chihuly pieces.
Oh, that's right. Okay. So it's a glass thing.
Yeah.
Yep.
With a little ICM going on. Multiple exposures, right, Susan?
Yes.
Yep. She was playing with what? Average Cam Pro or Slow Shutter app.
Flow shutter, I think it was.
Okay, this one is Alter Reality. It's colored petals. And this is Brian's, and the score is, wait a minute. $23.1.
Did you say ultra reality?
Yeah. Am I remembering that? Is this? Yeah. Were they all white to start with?
No, these are when you came into the gallery. The white ones were in a window on the right.
I remember
And then
that.
if you walk to another room, then the orange ones were on a different wall in a different room. And I
Okay,
combined them.
okay. Yes, because I remember the white ones did not have anything else with any other color with them. They were just white, and that's so you have done a composite of two images.
Yeah. I used my blending techniques that I learned the night before from somebody.
Well, you did very well blending them.
Yep.
They came together very well and do look like that. It looks like one image. Yep.
Yeah, it really
So
came out.
I want to make this. Thank you. I wanted to say something about this because when I went in there, I took a lot of in-camera. I took a lot of in-camera multiple exposures. And when I got home after learning the blending techniques, I didn't use any of them because what I found was that you had a lot more flexibility if you blended two exposures together than if you use the in-camera. And also the other thing I didn't know when I was shooting, but you get the raw image from the first shot that you take, but you don't get the raw image from the second shot when you're doing a multiple image of two different shots. You only have the first shot and the combination. So if I was going to do this over, I would have taken all single images, and it would have given me a lot more choices of combining multiple exposures.
Yes, compositing for multiple exposure on the back end has a lot more flexibility, and I'm glad you learned blending techniques to make them come together well.
Yeah, I am too.
Yeah, because this came together very well. You would not necessarily look at that and think that almost that looks like it's one display with two different colored pieces of glass.
Yeah, with the shading and everything, it just worked out almost perfectly.
Nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely two different rooms.
And this one, and then Brian's actually, using his imagination. Here's my favorite one. This is Alta Reality Fish and Blown Glass. And the score
I've
23.1.
I was blown away by this, Brian, because this is so not Brian and so cool. This is the guy that's been landscape, and let's take a picture of just, and the thought that went into this to imagine that all this stuff looks like an underwater reef with anemones and seaweed and coral and sticking the fish into it. I would have looked at this if I did not know it was you. I would think this was a Susan Anderson piece.
Or Jim.
And that's a compliment.
Yeah.
So let me just tell you a little story about this. Again, this is two different rooms that are combined. And where the fish is, there was some artifacts, and I took it into Photoshop, and I wanted to do a generative replace something. I don't know exactly which one I did. And it asked me when it came up to generative, it asked me for something, and I said blue background. And it gave me 3 blue fishes, and I thought, wow, that fits this photograph really well. But it wasn't like I was looking for a fish. That was AI that gave me the fish to replace it's hiding some crap that I wanted to get rid of. But anyway, I like how it turned out.
Yeah, this looks like an underwater,
Really
like a
cool,
psychedelic underwater scene.
Yeah. Yeah.
With coral and anemones and seaweed and fish. The way this came together and the impressionism of it, is so cool.
Well, that just means he's loving his retirement.
No, that just means that he's loving this club.
Everything you saw, there were 4 photos in the slideshow at the beginning, and these 2, every single one of them used blending techniques that I learned the night before from Jim.
Fantastic.
How much are you going to praise Jim and not me?
Well, you didn't do the blending.
I blended you two together. If you had bought a Sony, you wouldn't be doing this.
You told him to buy a Fuji.
Yeah, you're right.
Yes, he did.
I was there when there was this debate, so I remember.
Well, this is great. This has been great.
Thanks everybody for coming. And
if you
at Pier and Beer next week, if you have any questions, let me know. But all the details are on the website as where we're meeting. We'll meet by the plane on the pier. And please don't forget to pay to park.
I'll
Don't forget to what?
Pay to park.
pay if you
Because Jack got a ticket last year because he didn't pay to park.
Okay.
Lynn, you said this next Thursday, this address on the website.
Yeah, all the details are on the website. It's next Thursday night. Yeah, we're gonna meet at the pier.
Okay. Jim, I'm very sorry. Suddenly I missed your point because my backyard neighbor, big tree, 10 meter high, dropped down to my house.
Oh.
Oh,
Your house,
Yeah.
right?
Then we drop